Hi, I'm Thyra. I'm deeply in love with all things beautiful that make life bloom. I believe that with every step we take, we can make life grow stronger. Some think that's a struggle, but I think that it can be done in all sorts of fun and enjoyable ways. That is why I started to film the Lifekeeper's Diaries. Here is where I share my views of beauty, my ways of giving back to life, and my sparkles of creativity. I think those are exactly the ways of how to fill life with joy and love for ourselves and others. That is the way of a Lifekeeper.
Hey there! So today I'm making this, let's say, quite simple video because it's not about editing, about beautiful shots and things like that. But I think that it is about a very important topic that I want to share with you. And I know that I'm absolutely not the only one that's ever stressed this out, but still I was a bit triggered by post that I saw on the Instagram from the content creator that I follow. And yeah, I just wanted to share a few thoughts on that and on what it took me so long to start my own YouTube channel and share more of my thoughts and contents mainly on Instagram and YouTube. So this content creator that I follow, she mainly does the contents on topics of, well, let's say relationships and sexuality, sensuality, love and things like that. And in general, I mostly agree with her. I think that most of the contents that she shares is quite valuable. Sometimes they are a bit controversial, but I think that is very important as well because we need to have this, you know, big space of points of view that we can pick from. But you know, I think that quite often what we share on the social media can be also quite damaging and quite dangerous. Even though the main reason you create them is, you know, very well thought and you know, very supportive in general, but sometimes just because of the lack of the conversation, of dialogue, of gathering many points of view, you cannot give the right picture and the right answer to the questions that are open in the social media. So what was this post about? Well, it wasn't really a post, it was posted on the Instagram story, which means that there was absolutely not enough space and time to discuss the certain question. And you know, this makes me question myself. Is it better to give a short answer when you're given a complex question, or is it better to just avoid it completely because you don't have the right space and time to give a complex answer? So the question was, when do you know that you should exit a toxic relationship? And the answer was, well, first of all, I have to say that she did say that that is her own point of view. You know, that is not something that is the right answer for everybody, but it is her own point of view. But she said that in her opinion, you should first find your own place of happiness and fulfillment yourself, and only when you find that place, you should reconsider whether you want to exit the relationship or you want to, you know, save it or do something about it. And in general, I absolutely do agree because quite often, you know, we give up very easily on things that could be saved or could be evolved into something better. And I suppose I'm the first one to do that, always, you know, questioning myself, what can I do better so that the situation could be better? But still, I think this simplified answer can be very, very dangerous as well, because many people, they rely on the contents that they see on the social media, and they take actions, or they make their decisions upon them, upon the contents that they saw on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, or, you know, social media in general. But we have to know that, you know, life is way too complex. It's way too big for us to find the simple solutions to very complex questions. And on the social media, there are the simple solutions. But life is never about simplicity. If you live life according to the thought of making it simple, it will probably fall apart. Because, you know, most of the things that make things better in life need time, need space, need many points of view, so we can find the right answer to the situations that occur in our lives. And that was the thing that kept me from starting my own channel for such a long time, because I really love sharing thoughts with people. I love pedagogical work. I've worked in pedagogy for many years. I love making conversations. I love listening to different points of views and learning and teaching, all of that. But I was afraid of this because, you know, when you're creating the contents for the social media, it's always only about you. If you're alone, well, maybe it's different if you have a channel where you collaborate with many people, and I hope I will one day. But still, when you start on your own, it is just about yourself. It's about your point of view. It's about what you have to share. And quite often, if not always, it actually happens that when you look at the contents that you've posted, you always think of things that you could still add. You know, the thoughts, they pop out, and you know that there's more to say on topic than what you did. And I was afraid of doing that because, you know, my solution, it's not a solution for everyone, and my point of view is not the only one that is right, and there should always be a dialogue of many points of view, of many different perspectives, of many different personalities, and only putting all of those together can mean some real progress. And it doesn't even mean that it's a solution that you will find forever. It's just a solution for now, but it might change throughout time. Not might, it usually changes throughout time. And I was really afraid of the lack of this complexity that I so much value in life, and that I so much want to have in my own life and want to share with others. Yeah, so I think that, you know, just saying to somebody that you should find your own happy place and only then see whether you want to end your relationship or not, I think that can be very, very dangerous, because quite often people that are considering that, you know, live in something that they might realize that it is quite toxic. They are the ones with a lot of insight, and quite often they can be full of guilt, of doubts, and for that reason they don't end something that is not only toxic but can be very, very damaging. And in many cases, I would say, don't think about it, just do it. Do it today, not tomorrow. Do it yesterday. You know, because quite many relationships, they're not just toxic, but actually very, very dangerous. And in those situations, I think it's quite terrible to say to a person, you know, you should find your own happy place, and then consider whether staying with somebody that is beating you or that is harassing you is still worth saving. No, you do not save that. You go away and then you try to get the pieces of your life together and then decide what you're gonna do next. It's not, okay, I'm staying here and I'll just try to make myself happy, and then when I'll make myself happy, probably the other person will be more happy as well, and then we're gonna save our marriage or our relationship. No, that will probably not happen. First, you need to save yourself and then try to do something better for yourself for the future. But even that is not the best answer, because my situation can be completely different from the situation of somebody else. And if you don't have the dialogue, if you don't have the conversation about a certain situation, about certain person in a certain situation, in, you know, certain complexity of life, you cannot give the answers to these kind of complex questions, because you have no idea when somebody asks you that question in your DM on Instagram, what's the story behind? You know, what kind of things have already happened in that person's life? What's the capacity of this person? What are the resources that that person has? You don't know anything, the first thing about that person. And that's why you cannot give the answers. You just cannot give the answers. It's not that you don't have the knowledge in general about the topic, or you're not educated enough or anything. It's just that you have no idea about that person. You know, the other day I went to my therapist, to my she's also my friend, but she's also a very good psychotherapist. And it wasn't that I was in some really bad situation in life. I just needed a little bit of support. I don't go there regularly because I don't feel I need it at this point in my life. But I knew that I needed a new perspective over some things that were happening in my life. And it took us more than 4 hours to get through just few things that were happening in my life. Now just think about a person that has a really horrible, really hard situation in life, and a pile of things that have already happened and are not dealt with. I mean, you cannot answer to that question in one Instagram story. You cannot even answer that question in a video on YouTube that's an hour long. You cannot even answer it through an interview with a psychotherapist. You need to talk to that person first of all, and then give it a thought. Give a chance of this process happening. You know, making changes in life is always a big process. Even the small changes, they take time, they take a lot of consideration, they take a huge process, and that is absolutely not done in just one Instagram story. And I was really afraid before starting my content on the social media. What can I share with people that would be supportive and not damaging? And I know that everything can be seen from different perspectives and can be heard with different ears, you know. So the same information can be really supportive to somebody and then really damaging to somebody else, or just whatever to the third person, you know. But still, there were some rocks falling from the cliff next to me. Yeah, so it's just really complex. And I know that this is not a solution to situation at all. You know, in general, in the world, on social media, on the way we share information with each other, this will probably not make any change. But still, it was something that I wanted to share with you. Life is way too complex to deal with it in Instagram stories. Way, way, way too complex for social media in general. And even if lately, you know, we think that we can avoid meeting in person, talking in person, that we can skip the time that is needed for any quality in life. We will never be able to do that. Never. Just because we are human beings that are complex, just because we have lives that are complex, just because life was built for quality and not for speed. It definitely wasn't created for speed. And that made me remember a very wise comment that my ex-colleague shared with me. So she used to work in a public school, and once she needed to get some information, some answers to a certain project that they were working on from the principal. So she went to talk to him, and it was quite urgent. So it was something that she practically needed the answer right away. But he told her, "I'm gonna talk to you tomorrow about that." And she was like, "Well, but I need the answer now because it's really important." And he told her, "Because it's really important, I'm gonna give it a time, I'm gonna think it through, and then I'm gonna talk to you tomorrow." And I think that is a very big wisdom. You know, to dare to take time, to dare to say, it's way too important for me to just give you some superficial answer. No, I'm gonna take time. I'm gonna give it a good thought, and then we're gonna talk again. And I think we should all have the courage to do that, especially in times when they tell you that everything should be done very fast and, well, very instant. Yeah, life is too complex to be instant. Yeah, so I don't really know how to close this, because I know that it won't really make any change in the world or in this virtual world. But still, I wanted to share this with you, and maybe you can give it a thought as well. Yeah, I think we should talk about that, and we should think about that. Yeah, so I suppose have a lovely day, and well, talk to you next time.